Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Now,
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you have any question from last class? You see, you are discussing discrete time Fourier transform. So obviously there are certain similarities with continuous time Fourier transform. Okay. And for this discrete time Fourier transform, we have obtained the concept of frequency for a sequence, no? So you see, if we apply a Xn sequence, then if we use Fourier transform, we'll get capital X of j omega. So again, in this case, for a discrete time signal, the spectrum is continuous. Like earlier, the simple Fourier transform for time domain signal. But there is one difference here. This spectrum is periodic of 2 pi, means periodicity of 2 pi. That we have discussed, that the spectrum will repeat in every 2 pi, the same. So that is the important difference between a continuous time Fourier transform and discrete time Fourier transform. And you see, the Xn, if we apply, if we consider and capital X of g to the power j omega, we have considered a spectrum, and the relation we have considered here, capital X of e to the power j omega as summation of x of n or x of pn, whatever it is, x of n only I'll consider, e to the power minus j omega n. Okay. So consider this one. So you see, we started with this one. Xn is a sequence, and its Fourier transform we'll call it DTFT, discrete time Fourier transform. Then we'll get spectrum, and that one we write in this form, capital X of e to the power j omega. Okay, and where this capital X of e to the power j omega is given by the summation of Xn multiplied with e to the power minus j omega n, and here this is your n equals to minus infinity to plus infinity, all entire range we can consider. Okay, and its inverse also we can compute. If a capital X of e to the power j omega is given, we can find the Xn from this one, and it is very similar to previous one, inverse Fourier transform. It's 1 upon 2 pi integration of capital X of e to the power j omega times e to the power j omega n and d omega, and this integral for 2 pi only, because this spectrum is periodic. So only for one period we will compute this integration. Okay, so you may consider from minus pi to plus pi or 0 to 2 pi, any 2 pi range. Right? Now, how to prove this one? That last class we have not discussed, and this is not very difficult. This inverse Fourier transform, inverse DTFT, means a capital X of e to the power j omega that is given, and from here we used to compute the sequence x of n. Okay, now you see, if I start with this one, that capital X of e to the power j omega and e to the power j omega n, if I multiply and integrate over a 2 pi, then okay, we'll scale it by 2 pi. Then what is this integral? That we want to compute. Is it the same as x of n? So we wish to show that this is nothing but x of n. Okay, so how to do that one? Now, capital X of j omega, that we know. How to compute the spectrum. So this is simply summation of xn e to the power minus j omega n equals to minus infinity to infinity. Okay, so that we can replace here. So this is 1 upon 2 pi. This integration sign over 2 pi, that is with respect to omega. Omega is from minus pi to plus pi or 0 to 2 pi, whatever it is. Okay, and this one, so can I replace this capital X of j omega as summation of this one? So here we have considered already n, so here I will consider another dummy variable x of k and e to the power minus j omega k. Is it okay? And k will vary from minus infinity to plus infinity. So this is our capital X of e to the power j omega, the Fourier transform. Okay, so with this, we need to multiply e to the power j omega n, and then we should integrate it with respect to TW. Now, we can interchange the summation and the integration. So that we can do. So 1 by 2 pi is outside, is fine. So first I will take the summation, this k equals to minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, and xk, because this integration with respect to omega only, and omega is having here and here, these two functions. So that will compute first, and x of k I will take here. Okay, so this integration, over 2 pi, and we can combine these two. So e to the power minus j omega and this is your d omega. So this integral first will compute, then this will be a function of k only. Okay, because we are integrating with respect to omega, k and n, obviously k and n only, and then that will be multiplied with xk, and then we'll take summation. Is it correct up to this? Any confusion? No? Okay. So this, okay, I can put one more bracket here to indicate that the summation is with respect to this one. Right? Now, here k can take any value, all integers. Suppose when k equals to exactly n, that time what will happen? And when k is not equal to n. So these two cases we will consider. So first case we will consider that when k is not equal to n. Okay, so this is same thing, same integration, same summation, all those things, when k is not equal to n. And again k is from minus infinity to infinity, but with one condition, that k is not equal to n. That rest integral x of k and this summation e to the power minus j omega k minus n and d omega. Okay, and next one is first term is with k equal to n. So when k equal to n, then it is 1 upon 2 pi, and k equal to n means x of n, only 1 point, x of n, and with k equal to n here, e to the power 0, e to the power 0 means 1. Okay, and integration. So with k equal to n, it is becoming 2 pi, and it is e to the power 0 and d omega. E to the power 0 is 1, so d omega is omega only, and it is part 0 to 2 pi, suppose. So it is 2 pi. So this integral is becoming only 2 pi. Is it correct? Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think it is clear enough. Just this one, I want to compute in two parts. One is that when k equals to exactly n, and when k not equal to n. So k not equal to n second summation, and with k equal to n the first one. So first one is becoming x of n. And the rest one, that we need to understand. Okay, what is this summation? So with when k not equal to n, now what is this integration? Okay, so can I write one more times? So k is from minus infinity to infinity, all integers, but only one condition, k not equal to n. This is your x of k times this summation 2 pi e to the power minus j k minus n into omega dw. Okay. Now what is this integral when k not equal to n? So any e to the power minus j omega m, and if I integrate it with respect to omega, okay, and over a 2 pi range, so what we will get? So this one you will see, this integration is simply e to the power minus j omega m upon minus j m. Is it correct? And suppose integration limit I am considering 0 to 2 pi. Right? So what you will get here? So 1 upon jm minus jm is outside. And this is your e to the power minus j 2 pi m, because omega equal to 2 pi, first case, and second one is minus e to the power 0. So what is the value of e to the power minus j 2 pi m?
1.
1.
It is always 1, because e to the power j 2 pi is 1. Minus j 2 pi is 1. So this is 1, and this is also 1. So this is 1 minus 1 multiplied by this 1 upon minus jm, and that will give you 0. So it's implied that if, so this is a condition, if m not equal to 0, okay, and if m equal to 0, then e to the power 0 is 1, and in that case integration is 2 pi. So here I am considering that any integer m of this form e to the power minus j omega m, its integral over 2 pi is always 0. That means this integral is always 0, because k minus n, that is equals to another integer, that is m, which is not equal to 0. So for all k, that integral will become 0. So when 0 is multiplied with xk, it will vanish. So you will get only first term, that is xn. Is it clear? So you see, from our spectrum, capital X of e to the power j omega, we can get back the signal x of n if we compute this integral. That means this is the inverse Fourier transform, discrete Fourier transform. Okay. So this is one way. Another way also, from this periodic concept, we can get it, but this is interesting one. Okay. If you just class, we have given one. So you see xn, its Fourier transform is capital X of e to the power j omega, and DTFT, and inverse DTFT, capital X of e to the power j omega. From here we will get xn, that is your inverse DTFT. Fine. Now, first of all, I want to make one comment on this omega. What is actually the omega? Okay. And you can understand this thing, that a continuous signal xt and its Fourier transform, if you consider, then you will get a spectrum, a frequency, and that it can have any frequency. That frequency from 0 to infinity. Okay, very large frequency it can have. Okay. Now, to differentiate the frequency of discrete time domain small omega and continuous time domain frequency, so right now I'll replace this thing as capital X of j and capital omega. A different symbol I'll use to differentiate the frequency for continuous time domain and the frequency of discrete time domain. Okay. Right. So this frequency range capital omega, ideally, so positive, this is if you consider, okay, both sides, then from it is minus infinity to plus infinity, entire frequency. Okay. But you see here x of e to the power j omega. So when you are considering this one, that xn is DTFT is capital X of e to the power j omega, then it is periodic, means x of e to the power j omega plus or minus 2 pi k, you will get again e to the power capital X of e to the power j omega. Is it right? So it will repeat. So is say I can say that if we consider one frequency range from minus pi to plus pi, this is for 2 pi range, and that is sufficient to characterize this spectrum, because otherwise it will repeat. You won't get any new information. Okay, it's a periodic. So what is the relation between this continuous time domain frequency, the frequency for continuous time domain signal, the capital omega, and the frequency of discrete time domain signal, small omega? Is there any proper relation? Okay. And already I've said that this discrete sequence actually we have obtained from sampling. No? So we have considered xt, then we are getting on sampling. We will get at regular interval at t equals to nts. Then you will get x of nts, and that one we are simply writing as x of n. we'll discard the TS to indicate that it is only sequence, but actually it is having some time index, TS, that is multiplied. Okay, so this is one sample signal, X of n TS, but X of n is purely a sequence. But if we include the TS, then only it will become a discrete time signal. Okay. Now we understand that what is the Fourier transform of the sampled version of X of t. And you see, we have discussed that the Fourier transform of X of NTS, again it will repeat. So this one you can recall X of NTS times del of n minus, sorry, t minus NTS, this summation. Okay, its Fourier transform we have computed. Then we have got omega s, and then summation of capital omega minus, okay, I am not considering j here, omega minus n omega s. N is or better, you can take k here, okay, to avoid confusion with the n. So this k is from minus infinity to plus infinity. That means spectrum will repeat. Just 1 minute, please. Okay. So is it clear up to this? Are you getting me? Is it fine? That omega s is 2 pi upon ts. That is your sampling time. So spectrum will repeat in every omega s. So if this is your spectrum of capital X of omega, then its sample version spectrum will repeat in every omega s. Okay. So this is your omega s, 2 omega s. So this is the spectrum of sample version XS of omega. So you see there is a close relation. In DTFT also we are saying that it will repeat in every 2 pi. Okay. So can I say that this periodicity obviously should be same? No. So logically we are thinking this capital X of e to the power j omega will also repeat if like this. So this is your 2 2 pi. This is 4 pi. Similarly, it is minus 2 pi, like that. So this is a small omega. Okay, one thing. So we are considering this thing capital omega, fine? Okay, so just take a note here. We wish to differentiate it from small omega. So in this case, we will consider capital, all capital. Capital omega is capital omega is, okay? So instead of this one, we'll consider capital omega s. So this is capital omega. So x is of capital omega. Fine. This is capital omega s. So what is the meaning? So here this 2 pi in omega. So I want to relate these two, the small omega and capital omega. When small omega is 2 pi, then the corresponding frequency in continuous domain means for continuous time domain signal, it should be your capital omega s, means 2 pi upon t base. Is it clear? With some logic only, just we want to show it. Later on, we'll discuss in detail. So while we'll discuss filters, that time again we'll come back here and I'll show you that how these two are related. So small omega, we are considering that it is a digital frequency, and this capital omega sometimes is called analog frequency. So basically, this small omega is for discrete time Fourier transform. For that we are getting, and capital omega is continuous time Fourier transform. So relation is that whenever you will say that small omega is 2 pi, actually the continuous time domain for that signal, the actual frequency is 2 pi upon ts. So this unit, you will see it is simply a radian, and it is radian per second. This unit is radian per second. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Is it fine? Any question, please? Any question? No question? Suppose, okay, I'll explain more a little bit. Now this is a signal. Okay. Now we are taking samples at regular interval. Right? And this is your xt. Sorry, x of t. Okay, time domain signal. And the samples are, we'll call it this is your x of n. Right? And for this xt, this is the Fourier transform is capital X of j omega, and that its frequency is, okay, I'll take particular one example. then probably it will help you to understand. Suppose if this is minus, this is 1 hertz in frequency, okay. This is 2 pi times, so I am considering is capital W, it is a minus capital W, and capital W is 2 pi times 10 to the power 3. Okay, that is the radian per second. Okay, so this we will consider with respect to capital omega. Okay, again mistake, this capital omega. Okay, so for this capital omega, what is the linear frequency? Anyone, can you please tell me? This angular frequency is said that it is 2 pi times 10 to the power 3. So what is the linear frequency f in hertz?
2 raised to 3 power 10.
Yes,
10 raised to 3.
10 to the power 3. That is in hertz. So that is called 1 kilohertz. So signal bandwidth is 1 kilohertz. Okay. Maximum frequency it can contain, it is 1 kilohertz. So to recover the signal from a sampled version, we need to take samples where sampling rate omega s should be more than. So what is the omega s? Active sampling rate. Okay, so omega s sampling frequency should be more than 2 times of this 2 pi times 10 to the power 3. Means 4 pi into 10 to the power 3 radian per second. So that is your sampling rate. You have to choose. Okay. Suppose we'll consider just add this equal to. So if WS is exactly same as 4 pi into 10 to the power 3 radian per second. So we sample out that rate only. Fine. So in that case, what will happen? The spectrum will look like this one. This is your first one. This is capital omega. This is 2 pi times 10 to the power 3. So again, we'll consider here, it's the 4 pi. Here, again it will repeat because this is your omega s, capital omega s. It will repeat here. So it will just touch. Still now, we can recover if we can design one perfect low-pass filter. Okay, so this omega is 4 pi times 10 to the power 3. That is in radian per second. Now, if we consider that sample version x of n, and for this one, if I say is dtft is capital X of e to the power j omega, small omega. So this is your capital X of j capital omega. Okay. So now if I consider small omega and capital X of e to the power j omega, then you see that Again, you will get the same shape. But we understand that the shapes will repeat after 2 pi. This is 2 pi, this is 4 pi, this is 6 pi, like that. And this is pi. Okay. So what is the meaning? Meaning is that in digital frequency, when it is 2 pi, that time corresponding analog frequency is omega s. That is your 4 pi times 10 to the power 3. Okay. And when it is your pi, that time it is 2 pi into 10 to the power 3. Right? So this small omega and capital omega, when it is 2 pi, that time it is a capital omega s. For this case, it is your 4 pi 10 to the power 3. And when it is pi, then it is omega s by 2 means 2 pi into 10 to the power 3, that is radian per second. And it is same as its corresponding is 1 kilohertz signal. Okay, so this indicates that this is your 1 kilohertz point, and this is your 2 kilohertz point. So 1 kilohertz signal is there, a signal of bandwidth 1 kilohertz. Now we are taking a samples with the rate 2 kilohertz sampling rate in linear frequency, or in angular frequency it is 4 pi times 10 to the power 3 radian per second. Then we will get these two spectrum. So this is from xn and this is from x of t. Please try to understand this thing because it is very complicated. Now, if I choose omega s is too large compared to this 4 pi, suppose if I consider it is 20 pi into 10 to the power 3 radian per second. Okay, that means what? It is capital omega. So this is your omega s. This is a 2 omega s. And this value is 20 pi into 10 to the power 3. Okay, now your signal is having up to 2 pi 10 to the power 3. That is the bandwidth. So it is 10 times larger. So I can have a signal like this. And rest time it is 0. So this indicates that I have taken very large sampling rate. Here 10 times sampling rate we have considered with respect to Nyquist sampling rate. Okay, so signal will repeat here. Okay. Like this. Okay. So what is happening? This is the spectrum. So obviously, if this is the sampling rate, it's digital frequency. So this is a capital X of J capital omega. And digital frequency, if I consider capital X of e to the power J omega, you should get similar spectrum. But in this case, it is 2 pi, it is 0, this is 4 pi, this is 2 pi, okay? This is your minus 2 pi. So what I want to mean here, the same sequence you may get similar sequence you will get, but here the sampling rate is very high, 10 times larger than IQ sampling rate. That's how this signal looks like this one. And this 2 pi is corresponding to actually omega s, and this pi is corresponding to here omega s by 2. Okay. Is it little bit clear? Any confusion, please? So whenever you will take a higher sampling rate, then you will get much more zero region here. So in digital frequency, sometimes it is given in that way. Suppose xn will get x of e to the power j omega, and if I consider, so this is your minus pi to plus pi, and this, if I say it is your pi upon 6, my minus pi upon 6, this is your capital X of e to the power j omega, then again it will repeat here. No? This is your pi, this is your 2 pi. So there it will repeat. So if this is given, the digital frequency, now if I say my sampling rate fs in linear frequency, it's suppose 5 kilohertz. Now from here, can you tell me what is the bandwidth of this signal x of n? Means what is the corresponding linear frequency of this point pi by 6? Anybody? Are you getting my question? I am saying that spectrum is given for digital sequence only, but it is said that the sequence are sampled, are just obtained after sampling with sampling rate 5 kilohertz. So from this spectrum, can you tell me what is the actual frequency, the highest frequency content of the signal in linear frequencies in hertz? This omega, remember, its unit is radian. By 6, what is linear frequency? That is one. Not clear? I told you that this mapping, this 2 pi is corresponding to omega s in radian per second, or fs in hertz. Same thing. So this pi is corresponding to omega s by 2, and linear frequency it will be fs by 2. So this point, it is 1/6 of pi. So obviously this point will be omega s by 12. Okay, or in linear frequency it is fs by 12. The highest frequency bandwidth, the highest frequency is simply fs by 12 here, that is in hertz, is 5 by 5 kilohertz, 10 to the power 3 by 6, that is hertz. Is it clear? I am not getting your response. Please reply. Otherwise, I can proceed.
Yes, sir.
You should understand. Now we'll take few signals and the properties of DTFT quickly because the properties are very similar to the continuous time Fourier transform. Okay, so we won't take too much time for this to discuss the properties of DTFT. So we'll take few examples. First example, if xn equals to D means this type of signal. I have only one sample and rest samples are zeros with respect to n, both sides. I think you understand what about delta n. Delta n is one sample and its magnitude is 1, not infinity. In delta t, the magnitude was infinity, area under delta t was 1 unit impulse. And in discrete domain, delta n is defined as 1 at n equal to 0 and it is 0 elsewhere. Okay, so if this is the signal, what is the DTFT? Okay, so capital X of e to the power j omega, by definition, it is x of n e to the power minus j omega n. Okay, it is not integration, the summation, right? The n equals to minus infinity to infinity. So in this case, xn is delta n. So you see it is delta n e to the power minus j omega n, n equals to minus infinity. So this will exist at n equal to 0 only, and that time it is 1. And when this delta n is 1, n equal to 0 is 1. So n equal to 0, delta n is 1, and this one is e to the power 0. And rest time delta n is 0, so everything will become 0. Okay, so this compound is for n equal to 0. And this side is n negative. This is for n negative. And this side is for n positive. Okay, so if I consider all sequences, n0 and left side sequences and right side sequences, you will see that only this term will remain there and rest all term will vanish. It implies that its value is 1. Okay, so its spectrum in small omega, it is continuous. Okay, that is 1. Means it will contain all the frequencies with equal magnitude, similar to del T signal. The second one, we consider one signal x of n equal to alpha to the power n u of n. Okay, what is signal? So right side sequence, so alpha certain values are there. So I can consider alpha is positive. So I think you understand alpha positive, what will happen? Positive and obviously is positive and less than 1. that I'll consider. So at n equal to 0, it is 1, then it will decay. Okay. And left side, it is all zeros. So this is your n, this is your x of n, equal to alpha to the power n and u of n. And if you consider this range alpha is 0 to minus 1, then what you will get? At n equal to 0, it is again 1, and left side or zeros is fine. But second one, its alpha is negative, so its value is negative. Could be like this. It could be like this. So it will decay, but alternating. Right? So for any cases, if it is alpha n to the power n un, then what is yours for this one? We wish to find e to the power j omega. So how to find? So capital X of e to the power j omega, it is defined as summation x of n e to the power minus j omega n equals to minus infinity to infinity. Now in this case, this is alpha n to the power n and un. And un, you will indicate that it is right-sided sequence. The n will start from 0 to infinity. Okay, no need to multiply un here because we have taken care this limit 0 to infinity. And then it is e to the power minus j omega n. Okay, so this one, how to tackle? So I can write alpha times e to the power minus j omega and whole to the power n. Here n equal to 0 and up to infinity. Okay. And what is this? This is basically, so if I start n equal to 0, then see alpha e to the power j omega minus j omega e to the power 0, that is 1. First element is 1. And second element is alpha e to the power minus j omega. And next element is alpha e to the power minus j omega, that square. Next is alpha e to the power minus j omega, that cube. It will continue. So this is a GP series, geometric progression series. 1 plus r squared plus r cube, like that. And this one we are considering because e to the power minus j omega is complex number and alpha is less than 1. We have considered already that mod alpha is less than 1. Okay, the ratio is less than 1, so it will converge. This summation will converge, and this infinite summation we can write that. So this one, 1 plus r squared plus r cube, like that. Its summation is 1 upon 1 minus r. This infinite series, if r is mod r is less than 1. Is it correct? So this GP series will converge. Its value will be 1 upon 1 minus r. The same thing we'll use here. It is 1 upon 1 minus of this one. R is here. Alpha e to the power minus j omega. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
It's very important because maximum times we'll be using this form. Very commonly it is used. So you have to remember. So what is the magnitude spectrum and phase spectrum? At least magnitude spectrum. Can I find the magnitude of this one at least? How it look like? So h of e to the power j omega, its magnitude. So this is omega. So at omega equal to 0, what is the value? Can you tell me what is the value at omega equal to 0?
One by one minus alpha.
1 by 1 minus alpha. 1 minus alpha, not infinity. Fine. And at omega equal to pi, what is the value? At omega equal to pi, e to the power minus j pi. What is the value of e to the power minus j pi?
1 by 1 plus
Pi
alpha.
plus 1.
So it is 1 by 1 plus alpha because e to the power minus j pi is minus 1. So it is 1 by 1 plus alpha. So if I consider alpha positive, okay, alpha positive. So alpha is within 0 to 1. That we are considering right now. Okay, then it is 1 by 1 minus alpha. To start from here, and this one, it will be 1 by 1 plus alpha to come here. So you will get some kind of waveform like this. It will reduce. The spectrum value will reduce here like this. It's a pi, and this side also it will remain similar at minus pi. Okay. At 2 pi, it will repeat, that you know. So again you will get this shape. So it will be like this. Okay. So this is the spectrum. So what it indicates? The zero frequency. At zero frequency, the magnitude is maximum. Its value is 1 upon 1 minus alpha. And alpha is positive and less than 1. So its value is large. And 1 by 1 plus alpha is less. It will reduce up to this value. Okay. So this is our zone we'll consider. Minus pi to plus pi. So positive frequency is from 0 to pi. And there you will see frequency, when frequency is increasing, magnitude is reducing. So again, it will behave as a low pass filter. Some kind of low pass filtering effect you will get. Okay. So if we consider the alpha is from 0 to 1, but if I consider alpha is zero to minus 1, then what you will get? So alpha itself negative. No? So if alpha itself negative, so this one at omega equal to 0, you will get 1 by 1 minus plus alpha. So sorry, this one 1 by 1 minus alpha, that value is low, and here it will be maximum. So I think you will get this kind of shape. Is it fine? So this is your pi, this is your 2 pi, this is your minus pi. So you see, at zero frequency it is a minimum, and as frequency is increasing, it is increasing, and it will attain maximum value at omega equal to pi. That means this will behave some kind of high pass filtering, and this will behave some kind of low pass filtering. So please concentrate on this region from minus pi to plus pi. Don't go beyond that, because that is on the repetition. So if you look at here from pi to 2 pi, then it may look like that is high pass filtering, but this is not at all, it's high pass filtering, because frequency, main frequency is within 0 to pi only. That is the valid frequency. Okay. So this is one important concept. And next one, third one, if I consider this, okay, on property we can say that linearity property. So I am not discussing all properties in one by one. So already we have discussed the properties of Fourier transform in detail. So linearity property says that if x1n, if it is capital X1 of e to the power j omega, and x2n is capital X2 of e to the power j omega, then if I take a sequence like that, a1 x1n plus a2 x2n, its spectrum DTFT will be simply a1 times capital X1 of e to the power j omega, and it is a2 times capital X2 of e to the power j omega. The property of linearity. And you may consider second property, that time shifting. Means, suppose if I have a signal xn, its Fourier transform is capital X of e to the power j omega. Then if signal is delayed by certain samples n0, then what you will get? You will get the same spectrum x of e to the power j omega, only there will be phase delay e to the power minus j omega n naught. It's correct? Fine. So now with this, can we get few more examples? Okay. So just time shifting and linear property. And time reversal also we can do. Time reversal means x of minus n, what would be your spectrum? Can you tell me what would be the spectrum for time reversal? Can you guess? In continuous domain, x of t is capital X of j omega, and x of minus t, time reversal, what is the spectrum?
X of minus j omega.
Exactly. So what you can guess here? It should be similar thing, capital X of e to the power
X to minus.
minus j omega. Because n is replaced by minus n. So if I consider minus n equal to m, you will get the same thing here. So that you can prove it. Okay. Fine. Now with this one, can I find one sequence? Suppose if I give you that it is e to the power or alpha to the power n or so okay, alpha to the power mod n. Okay, so n could be any positive, negative, all those things. Okay, So what is the shape of this one? With respect to n, suppose the right side, this is the samples. You continue, and left side also it is even now even no, this is even function. So I should get left side is similar. So this will be alpha to the power mod n. So can we find the spectrum of this one? So here be careful a little bit. You have to be a little bit careful. So this alpha to the power n, can I write for positive sequence starting from 0 onward, 0, 1, 2, 3, all those things. I can write alpha to the power n and u of n. And left hand side, what we can write? Anyone?
Alpha to the n u of minus n.
Alpha to minus
Alpha to the power minus n.
Minus n u of
U of
minus n.
If you consider u of minus n, what is the u of minus n? So that's how I am asking you. U of n is this one. This is your u of n, including 0. Be careful. In discrete sequence, it is very, very important. This is u of n starting from 0 onward. And u of minus n is just time reversal. So this is your u of minus n. Is it right? So if you consider again u of n here, u of minus n, that means 2 times you are including this 0 sample at n equal to 0. So that is not 2. No? So if I consider this one, if I take this one, if I take care for this right side sequence starting from 0 onward, then left side sequence should be this range. Then you will get entire.
And it will be u of minus
Am I
n
clear?
minus.
Exactly. So I need to start from this one. I should consider this thing means u of minus n minus 1. Okay. So what will happen? U of minus n minus 1 I should consider, and again here also minus of n minus 1. Is it okay? So if I consider in that way, then what you will get? So okay, just I will calculate these things. So this right side sequence I will start from here. So this sequence is right. It will be much easier to compute. So this one I write first. This is first one is 1, then alpha square, then alpha cube, like that. And left side is again, it is alpha it's alpha square, then alpha q, like that. Am I correct? And this is here, it is n equal to 0. Right? So now, what should I do? So capital X of d power j omega, we need to compute. So that is your the summation of x of n e to the power minus j omega n, and n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay. Now, first one, I'll consider n equal to 0 to infinity, that un case. So that time it will be alpha to the power n, means alpha to the power n simple, and alpha e to the power minus j omega whole to the power n, that summation. Is it right? Or that, okay, let me explain one better way. So before that, so from here, x of j omega, just we need to multiply e to the power corresponding minus j omega n with this coefficient. So when n equal to 0, so this is 1 times e to the power 0. Okay. Next one is alpha times e to the power minus j omega. Next one is alpha square e to the power minus j2 omega. Okay. Then like that, this is alpha q e to the power minus j3 omega. This is right side. And left side is alpha. What will happen? Can you tell me what is the component alpha? Anyone please?
e raised to j
What this
omega.
one? Yes, it reverts j omega. Because when n equal to minus 1, that is for n equal to minus 1. So it is power plus j omega. Okay. And next one is alpha square e to the power j2 omega, like that. So alpha q e to the power j3 omega. So it will continue that way. So now I can take two summations. So one, this right side, this one I will take first, and that summation already we have computed, starting from 1. So what is that? This is 1 upon 1 minus alpha e to the power minus j omega. 1 by 1 minus r, this one. And rest one, okay, I'll keep it right now. What is that? The first element is, so I'll rearrange. I'll start from here. It is alpha e to the power j omega. Next one is alpha square e to the power j2 omega. Then alpha q e to the power j3 omega, like that. Okay. So how to compute this one? So can I take alpha e to the power j omega common? Right? And then it is 1 plus alpha e to the power j omega plus alpha square e to the power j2 omega, like that. And this one is 1 upon 1 minus alpha e to the power minus j omega. So now this is the GP series. So this is multiplied alpha e to the power j omega. And this summation is 1 upon 1 minus r. 1 minus r again. R is in this case alpha e to the power j omega. Is it okay? And this one is 1 upon 1 minus alpha e to the power minus j omega. So if you combine these two, what will get? 1 minus alpha e to the power j omega. It is 1 minus alpha e to the power minus j omega. So just multiply. If you multiply these two, you will get alpha e to the power j omega minus alpha square e to the power j omega times e to the power minus j omega. Okay, and that is your plus 1, and this is minus alpha e to the power j omega. Am I correct? So you see this alpha e to the power j omega, this will cancel out, and this 2 e to the power j omega e to the minus j omega, it will cancel out. So numerator will become, this 1 is there, and this is minus sign, it is alpha squared. That's simple. And if you multiply these two, what will you get? First one is 1 into 1 is 1. Then it is minus alpha e to the power j omega. You multiply this one and this one. Minus alpha e to the power minus j omega. And last term is minus 1 is a plus. Alpha squared e to the power j omega times e to the power minus j omega. So this two will cancel. So what you are getting? 1 minus alpha squared. And this one we can rearrange. This alpha e to the power j omega plus e to the power minus j omega. And this is your alpha square. So I can divide by 2, I can multiply by 2. So what will happen? This is your 1 minus alpha square. This is 1 minus 2 alpha, and this is your cos omega. And this is your alpha square. Is it okay? So this is your x of e to the power j omega. So this is a important, very, very important function, and we may use it in future. Okay? So any doubt? And can you use the properties to get this one? That is my concern, okay? Can you use the property to get the same result? So alpha to the power n un, if I consider one signal x1n, and this is simply the shift, the one level shift, no? So n is reduced by n minus 1 all side, and this is the alpha multiplied alpha. So can I write, can you use this formula? So only this one you have got 1 upon 1 minus alpha t per j omega minus j omega. So in this case, what you will get? Okay. Can you try to explain? So you can use for this shifting, there is a time reversal and one more shifting. So for time reversal, what you should do, and for shifting, what you will do. Then try to combine these two, and you will get the same result. But you should try. Okay, it is left to you. Can you use all those things: time reversal property, time shifting property, and linearity property to get the same result? Okay. So we'll continue our discussion on this discrete time Fourier transform in the next class. We will go to discrete Fourier transform. Then we will stop our discussion on the Fourier transform. We'll move to next topic, that is Laplace transform. Okay. But please go through my lectures several times. Try to understand basically Fourier transform. That is the most important part. And if you can understand Fourier transform, you will be able to understand DTFT, DFT, everything. Okay. So if you have any question, you can ask me. No question? So I can stop here. Okay.